If any one of you right now are in the space of marketing or service provider, you're teaching marketing, you're teaching people how to generate leads, you're teaching someone how to improve upon doing something or implement your special process, but you do not do the thing that you say you know how to do, my question is why? I don't know who needs to hear this, but you know the saying, you've heard the saying, knowledge is power. Knowledge is only powerful when it's applied. And when you're building a coaching business, a consulting business, a service-based business, you're selling your intellectual property. And I think many of us continue to either shortchange the expertise that we have by poorly articulating the depth of the expertise that we provide, or we try to jump into another field and present ourselves as something that we aren't. Presenting ourselves with a level of expertise that we don't actually have because we think that's what we have to do in order to secure clients. We think, psychologically that that's what we have to do to prove that we're worthy enough of someone working with us. And today, earlier this morning, I went to my esthetician, and I've been going to her for about a year now. And as someone who, must be honest, I still suffer from adult acne. Um, I'm really all about a skincare regimen. So those who know me know that, very rarely can I really go somewhere without really trying to analyze and critique if a business is, profitable. And as we were having a conversation about marketing and about sales, because she has quite a few celebrity clients, and being here in Atlanta, which is like, the Black Hollywood of, the South, she was sharing that they're all word of mouth or they follow her on her IG. So I live in a pretty prestigious neighborhood. And so we had this conversation about what do you do when every option around you is incredible? What do you do when every option is truly at the top of their game? And she asked me what made me hire her, because she's probably on the more expensive side. And there's a lot of other options that provide the same service in my community. And so I share with her my buyer psychology and walking her through what influences me and how I made my buying decision when all the other options, like I said, around me are, excellent. And so I share that I chose her in particular because she popped up in my news feed. Her skin is flawless. And she was demonstrating not only the before and after services that she performs on her clients, but also on herself. And I thought that was really important. And so when I started seeing the results that her celebrity clients were posting, I figure, they're not going to risk their skincare to someone who isn't at the top of her game when they make their living based on their beauty and or film. So I hypothesized that the quality of care must be impeccable. Therefore, I was willing to pay more for the quality of the product that I was, going to receive, and for the quality of service I was going to receive, and for the quality in the relationship that I was going to establish with her, with my overall, experience, right? And that made me really think about you. Because something that I struggle with when I first started my business, or even now as I continue to grow, how do I position my expertise? I think that what ends up happening in an online space, in particular, it's really hard to discern who knows their stuff and who doesn't. It's really difficult to discern because when you're online, you know, you have no idea of my background. You don't know my past experience. You maybe have attended, one of my master classes or, a webinar where I may have shared, a certain points, but you don't know me, right? And you don't know all the reps that I put in, all the plays I've made, or the results that I've truly gotten. And all you really see is my social, persona. All you see is the social media content. And hopefully my messaging is captivating enough that grabs your attention, and the messaging of what I communicate keeps your attention. So that's the goal. And that's the top line priority, right? But we really don't know who is credible in this space. And I think that's something that you always have to keep in mind with your content and with your messaging, and why repetition is so important. Because like today, I was on a coaching call before I hopped on here. I was on a coaching call, and we were talking about how many years experience that I have selling my services, selling to different industries, selling to different consumer bases, selling at different price points, the amount of sales experience that I have over the 15 years. And I think the saying goes, something like you need 10,000 hours of practice before you can become an expert. Now I kind of want to challenge that a little bit, because I think we're in an era where people think just because you've been doing something for a long time that, I've been in this online space, I've been doing this particular thing, now I'm qualified and I can now charge premium price for it. It's not about how much exposure you've had to a particular thing that you do or teach. It's really about what's the quality of exposure you've had around the expertise that you say that you're teaching and deploying and helping, someone else with. So I want you to think about that for a minute, in regards to how you're positioning yourself with the offer that you're selling. And in that regard, what offer are you inviting people into to work with you? I want you to clearly be able to distinguish, am I selling this because I have a lot of knowledge around it? Or am I selling this because I have a lot of quality experience? And a correlation to the exposure of what I'm trying to teach somebody else how to do. Okay, because I was talking to someone in my DMs this week, and they were asking, how do I clarify my program promise? And they're asking me, how should they clarify their program promise? And so they were explaining that their program promise is that they help business owners develop marketing strategies to surpass 7 figures in revenue. And so I said, okay, how much firsthand experience do you have actually building marketing strategies that resulted in a company surpassing 7 figures? And they were like, I don't. And so my follow-up question was, why do you feel the need to try and sell this service? Is it because you've read a lot about it? You've taken courses on marketing strategy, or you might have worked with a firm that did marketing strategy. You might, watch a lot of marketing experts on social media. You might consume a lot of content about marketing strategy, but there is a distinct difference between having the knowledge and understanding the concept of something versus having the context to do what you know. Do I need to say that again? There is
a distinctive difference between having the knowledge and understanding the concept of something versus having the context to do what you know. And I think that's really critical. And I think that many of us are in a space right now where we have so much access to education. It's really, really a beautiful thing. Education right now is decentralized. Every one of us has access to an abundance of information right at our fingertips. With a chat GPT, with a Google, you can go buy a course, you can go take somebody's program, you can have access to a plethora of information. And what I see a lot of people doing, and this might be you, please understand there is a difference between you spending hours consuming information to build your knowledge base versus you spending hours applying what you have learned to do that actual thing. Okay. Just let that like marinate for like a minute. So if any one of you right now are in a space of marketing, or you're a service provider, a consultant, a teacher, a educator, a mentor, a trainer, right? You're teaching marketing, you're teaching people how to generate leads, you're teaching your audience a specific method or strategy or framework that you've created. You're teaching someone how to improve upon something or implement your special process, but you yourself do not do the thing that you say you know how to do. My question is why? Why are you not applying what you know? Right? But you're banking on, just because I know this, I have exposure to this, I've read about this, I've watched videos about this, I've taken courses about this, I've done trainings about this. There is a difference between you having exposure to a concept versus you having context on how to apply the thing that you have done. And this is why I always tell people every time people are like, Cam, I want to charge a premium price. I want to raise my prices. Or I want to raise my prices, but I'm afraid to raise my prices. Like, I want to work with a better, higher quality lead, a better, higher quality client. And I want you to know that is 100% available to you. 100%. But what it comes down to is, I need you to claim what is true about the context in relation to the problem that you solve. You need to solve a problem that you have actual results doing or results contributing to. You have to understand the context of the problem, not just the concept of somebody else's problem. And that is truly the distinction. Like, you're understanding that if you position yourself around the context that you have, not just the concept of what you know, then that will truly separate and leverage and level up, yourself versus your competition or someone else who's offering something similar. Like, that is really what will separate you and allow you and position you to charge more money, because you've been able to retain clients, and you've been able to provide a certain level of client experience. And I think that's the mindset that I'm inviting you into, to really distinguish yourself between an employee mindset versus a CEO mindset. Because an employee mindset tells us that if you just come to work, if you just do the job, if you just do what you're told, and understand that you're being told what to do and you apply it, That's the employee mindset, right? If I just get up, go to work, do my job, I'll get paid. If I meet the requirements of what's expected, I get paid. I only wish. Now, the CEO mindset is, even if you don't have a formal business, you can still have a CEO or entrepreneurial mindset, right? And so that's more like, I need to understand the context of why I'm doing what I'm doing. I need to understand what is the return on investment. That's the result of my effort, right? Not just I need to click this button, clock into work, and do what I'm told. I need to understand the context around the work that I'm doing. What does the work that I'm doing really mean? How does what I do impact the next person in the other department? How is the work that I'm doing impact the bottom line of the organization? How is the work that I'm doing increasing revenue, reducing expenses for the company that I work for? That's a completely different mindset. And I think that takes us further than just, I need to go consume some more information. I need to just go get another certification. I just need to keep watching Kamila's live stream or listen to her podcast or, watch her webinar. I need to do more to learn about messaging and marketing versus I need to now apply what she is saying. I need to invest in coaching support to actually do all the things that I know. I need to get the experience and build the reps and learn the context around the action that I want other people to take, that I want other people to pay me to do or to help them do, right? That's the difference. And I think that some of us, we can get caught up in all of this consumption. Knowledge is accumulation. And I need to learn more. I need to witness more. I need to consume more versus you just need to go do what you know. So some of you, may say that you want more leads or more better quality prospects. And I want you to ask yourself, what are you doing? What are you doing that you really know that you should be doing that you're not doing, if that makes any sense? Like, you know, are you going live once a day or once a week? Are you doing ads? Are you just watching me? Are you positioning yourself to where you are providing um, quality, substantial content that validates your knowledge and your level of expertise in order to build your brand? So you can build a know, like, and trust, and then people can invest in you because you are consistent and you have all of the receipts to validate your level of knowledge and expertise. Instead of just like giving me hearts in the comments, taking copious notes in your notebook, but you're not really applying what you know. And most of us overconsume. And that's probably the world that we live in, like social media. The algorithm is literally designed to keep our attention for as long as humanly possible. you know we are in a consumption era, and your ability to achieve the results that you want require some discipline. It requires some focus. It requires that you apply, do the thing you need to do. Say that again for the people in the back. Do the thing you need to do. Do not delay. It's easy for us to get into analysis paralysis and get into this rut of, I don't know enough. I'm doubting myself. I'm second guessing myself. I need to go consume more. I need to learn more. I need to listen more. when you really need to put yourself in an environment that's going to cause you to take action, not put yourself in another environment that's causing you to consume more and to procrastinate out of fear. This is why I'm such an advocate of your paying attention to your environment and your surroundings. This is why I work with coaches, because I do the exact same thing. And many times I have many of the same patterns, behavior patterns that, they have. I do the same thing where I get into the same rut of always consuming. So when I'm not doing what I know I need to do, which is be in an environment that encourages me to do more than I'm actually consuming, sometimes I just have to like turn off, you know. Sometimes you'll see gaps in my social media pages because it's just so noisy out here in these social media streets. And there's so many people talking in your ear and telling you this and telling you that and causing you to self-doubt. And then you're wondering, is this the right path that I need to take? When you really just need to just like be quiet and just follow your gut. God gives us discernment for a reason. Okay. And I want you to recognize that the majority of your learning is going to come from it's not going to come from you just listening to somebody else. 90% of your learning is going to come by applying what you've learned and actually doing it. You're not going to, you're going to learn from experience and not just having second contact exposure to it. Yes, you can learn. This is why I'm an advocate of coaching programs and having mentors and doing what I'm doing right now, creating educational content because you're learning through the process, right? You can shorten your learning curve by working with someone or, being led by someone or getting coached by someone who can teach you how to avoid the mistakes that you've made. The only way to really benefit from that knowledge transfer, to actually avoid the mistakes that they're teaching you, is to do the doggone thing that you need to do and take action. Okay. Not just continue to consume information. So I just don't want you to get caught up thinking like, oh, I'm out here in these streets making big money moves. I'm out here growing my business. And it's like, no, sis, no, bruh. You just spent the last 4 weeks consuming information. You just spent the last 4 weeks taking in a lot of information, taking it, taking in a lot of knowledge. But what have you done? To me, that's the true tell sign of an expert, is how much time have you spent applying what you know? And then from there, how have you, been able to refine what you know and improve on the actions that you've already taken? At some point, you need to be able to scale. You need to always trim the fat, keep it lean, continue to refine, and that's how you become an expert. So when you're deciding on what offer, should you sell and how you should package and position yourself, I want you to really look at it from that particular lens. Are you selling something in correlation to or selling something in a correlation of what you understand and what you know versus what you've actually experienced and that you have context around? Because you've actually done it. You've actually taken action on it. And learning is going to be based off of that experience that you've gained from doing that actual thing. Okay. I know I'm like overemphasizing this, but I really want you to get it. Okay. Because I've been talking about this for a while and you're still making the same mistakes over and over and over again. And you're expecting to get a completely different result, and it's not going to happen. Okay. Not having knowledge about the thing, learning is important, but you know, look, education is important. All right. I'm about to drive this home. But that's not the only piece of, the pie. When you go to college, okay, sidebar, I'm an adjunct college professor, right? I have marketing and business management degrees, right? I spent 8 years in college learning the principles and the concepts of marketing, business management, organizational leadership, entrepreneurship, economics, business operations, marketing channels and distribution, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right. I spent 4 years. I have a dual bachelor's degree in marketing and then business administration. I went for another 2 years and I got a master's. I went another 2 years for a doctoral, right? I have a lot of knowledge, but that doesn't make me a good marketer unless I have the actual experience applying what I know. I know plenty of people who are career students. I have a colleague, try not to give her name. I will not give her name, right? She's always taking a course. She's always taking a class. She's always hiring a coach, right? And I think after maybe 5 or 6 years, we've been in this online space together. And I'm like, when are you going to do the doggone thing? So she's like, I finally got it. I finally figured it out. I'm going to start this marketing agency and we're going to provide leads for our clients and we're going to manage their CRMs. We're going to run their ads on Facebook and Instagram. And then we're going to branch out. We're going to do ads on YouTube, and we're going to do all their email marketing and da 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 da. Like she is going to be that one-stop shop, right? And I'm like, okay, so how much experience do you have in that? I'm getting crickets. And I'm like, who's going to hire you and pay you $5,000 to $7,000 a month to be a marketing agency when you haven't had one client success? So I went a step further and I said, look, I'm willing to be your guinea pig. I'm not going to pay you. But if you want to provide all those services for me and my organization, then I'll put you on my podcast. I'll post about it on my social media. Like I'll put you out there to position you as that expert, that subject matter expert, so you can then secure the clients because now you have a receipt. Your people have someone to give a testimony and to validate that your services give the result that you promise. She was like, no, Cam, hard pass. I was like, okay, that's cool. I'm not mad at you, right? But I clearly want, all of you to understand it takes years to actually become a good marketer because I know I've done it, right? I'm not just telling you some book knowledge or something that I've read about. I actually do it. I actually teach it. I've been teaching it on an academic level for years, right? So because I've applied this and now I can distinguish myself from someone else. Not only do I have the textbook knowledge, but I am a CEO and I have real world knowledge. And I teach the knowledge in an academic setting, as well as online as a strategic business coach. Our entire system is orchestrated for us to be, long-term learners, which is important. You never want to stop learning. But if you want to build a business, if you want to get paid based off what you know, you don't get paid because you have more than somebody else. The people who get paid the most are usually the ones taking action on what they know. And a lot of the time, we're just, sitting back critiquing and looking around, watching, our quote unquote competitors, seeing who your consumers are choosing to hire instead of you. And I bet you're feeling, some kind of way like, no, I know more than them, you know. They over here acting, like they bossing, or like they know a certain level of knowledge, or they're an expert, but they're giving misinformation, they're giving like false statements, but the difference between them and you is, hello, they're applying what they know, or at least what they think they know. At least they're doing it. They're not out here talking about it, they're being about it. And as Coach Prime says, because I love me some Deion Sanders, he's like, they're making plays. They're making plays, right? Okay. What I want you to clearly understand and walk away from this podcast, from this video, is you need to take action. You're consuming, reading more books, getting more certifications, taking more courses, but you're not doing the work. You need to do the work. So of course that person is less qualified than you, right? That person is going to make more money than you because they're taking action, more action than you. And I just think that in this online space, we get to the point where we have this field of dreams mindset. You just expect that people will just trust your expertise because you decided to open a business. You have an LLC, or you incorporated your nonprofit, and creating a business profile on Instagram and Facebook is not enough credentials for your audience to trust that you know what the hell you're doing. Especially if you're trying to teach something that you say you've done yourself, but I don't see you doing what you're telling me that you do to get the similar results. And that's part of the reason why I rebranded my podcast to piggyback off of my CEO Circle Founders Retreat, because the real growth, the real learning, the real experience comes from the CEO decisions that we have to make daily, and the context around your taking the action. Practice what you're preaching. That's my recommendation. That's the thing I want to share with you today. You are not an expert because you know more than somebody else. I think true expertise in business, true expertise around program positioning, and what people are willing to pay is rooted in the context of actual results that you've achieved and the work that you've done versus how much information you've consumed over a particular topic. Go do the thing. If you're a coach, go coach. If you're a marketing person, go market. If you're a therapist, implement therapeutic healing. So the thing that you say you know how to do, and sell the thing that you have the most context around because you've actually done it. Okay. Hope all hearts and minds are clear. I will see you on the next episode.